This show is brought to you by United Healthcare because we believe in the power of volunteering.
Hello everybody, thanks so much for watching Project Volunteer. I'm your host Randy Lanham along with my co-host
Theresa Rowe.
Teresa. We're at Bernheim Forest today.
You got it right.
I did, I said it right, Bernheim Forest
Yes.
today. And we're gonna do some volunteering. I think they got some work. We're gonna be pulling some weeds, doing some trimming, different activities today,
That's
right?
right. I'm excited about it.
Me too, and learn about this awesome forest.
It's
and
beautiful.
Look at this big mama behind us.
Yeah,
Pretty
there's
cool.
a whole fairy tale behind her.
It's pretty cool. Thanks everybody so much for watching.
Have you ever wondered what nonprofit organizations do or about all their different volunteering opportunities?
Or what about hearing testimonies from the recipients of their care?
Join us on our journey as we walk in the shoes of a volunteer for a day and find out about some amazing organizations that are literally changing the world.
And along the way, meet some true surprising heroes making a difference in the lives of others as we feature another Project Volunteer. All right, this is my first time here today.
Welcome, welcome,
Yes,
welcome.
it is absolutely magnificent. I mean, it's beautiful. You've got so much to offer. I would love to hear the history behind Bernheim.
Well, Bernheim Arboretum and Research Forest is truly a Kentucky institution. Isaac Wolf Bernheim, our founder, came to the United States as a teenager and proceeded to come from New England down to Kentucky to meet up with a brother and a cousin, uncle. And in that process, he sold Yankee notions off his back, literally thread and needles and spoons and those kinds of things. He got down here, there was no job to be had, it turns out. So he and his brother ended up saving money by doing odd jobs. They bought a horse and a wagon and proceeded then to move whiskey barrels.
Oh, wow.
Well, they quickly learned that the money was not in moving barrels, it was in filling barrels and selling that. And so he and his brother started the I.W. Harper brand bourbon. And it became a widely sold bourbon in Kentucky, throughout the United States, and actually became one of the first bourbons to go international. Well, in 1929, at the age of 65, he wanted to give back to the people of Kentucky who allowed him to live the American dream. And so he bought 13,000 acres way outside of Louisville at the time.
13,000, you just bought it.
He bought it,
Okay.
13,000
That's a lot.
acres, because he believed that nature was good for everyone. And so in 1929, he started the I.W. Bernheim Foundation and said that he wanted this land, as it was restored, as it regrew, because it had been cut and logged and cattled and mined in some areas and was really in bad shape. But he knew nature is regenerative.
Mm-hmm.
And he said that he wants everyone to have access to nature at Bernheim, regardless of race, creed, or economic status. He said that in 1929. What a thought leader.
Oh, yes.
So we've been living that dream since, and we've been restoring land, we've been adding land, we have been doing outdoor education, conservation work, amazing research on golden eagles and other creatures, wonderful, wonderful art and nature, such as this earth measure here behind us. Well, so to make a long story short, since 1929, Bernheim has been welcoming people here to connect them with nature, which is our mission. And we do that in so many ways.
Okay, listen, I wanted to hear about the many ways. I just know a few. We've been talking to some volunteers out here that absolutely love it. They're passionate about coming out here and just doing what they do to give back and to beautify the area. But you've got a lot of land out here, so what are some of the opportunities?
Well, I'll tell you, first of all, anybody who volunteers their time and energy for any organization is a tremendous individual. But Bernheim has the very best volunteers in the world. They are worth their weight in gold. I tell them that every time I see them. And so, you know, our volunteers are engaged with every activity we do. They're our best ambassadors. They're very knowledgeable and they're fun-loving and they love to greet visitors. So we have them as greeters, we have them as gardeners. They're working in our edible garden, and that organic food that they harvest goes into our cafe, and that becomes fresh organic food for our visitors.
Oh, that's wonderful.
We have our volunteers working on our art projects. Many of our art programs are big scale, and so volunteers help move things, build things, do detailing. Our volunteers do interpretation, telling stories to kids and school groups, and also having touchable items, so you know, you can really learn by all the senses. I don't know what else. Volunteers do almost everything here at Bernheim. They're fabulous.
I want to thank you so much. I could spend all day with you, but thank you for
Real
what you're
pleasure.
doing out here.
Real pleasure. And everybody's welcome at Bernheim.
That's right.
Theresa, we're so glad you're here helping today, because as you can see, we got a lot of weeds in
Oh my
this
gosh,
garden.
you do.
And we're going to try to clean up around these daylilies so they're featured. So all these grasses and little vines, we're going to
This
try
is
to pull
all
out.
weeds.
This is all weeds.
Okay.
So we're going to work sort of uphill around this grouping, and then if we have time, we'll move over.
I will try my best.
When you get the grass out, shake the dirt.
Can you show me?
Yes.
Okay.
So,
Pull it.
yep, and then I usually tap it on the ground to get the majority of this out.
Okay.
And we'll just create a pile of weeds
All
and
right.
pick them up later.
All right, here we go.
All right.
So Carol, how long have you been doing this and volunteering? I mean, what brought you here?
I retired, and we have been here since 2012. We worked on an art project by Patrick Dougherty. It was very cool. And we liked the people we worked with, the other volunteers. So we said, hey, I think we can do this. So we've been out here. We come out every Thursday, and there are between 6 and 20 of us. And it's amazing what 20 people can do in 3 hours.
This is very serene out here. So why do you volunteer?
Oh, you got to give back somehow. And it's a
Yeah.
way to meet nice people, people that have the same interests as you. You learn a ton when you're out here. You learn all about plants, but it's a real diverse group of volunteers, mostly retired people right now in our group. But there are various groups out here. We're the horticulture group, but there are trail rangers, and there are people who take care of the edible garden, and people who work with education programs. So you can kind of find what interests you.
And you know, as we retire, we're supposed to be, I feel as if we're supposed to be doing more and giving back and helping others as well.
Exactly.
We're not
Especially-
supposed to just sit down, you know, and sit back.
Yeah, and it's, you know, it's good for your health, and it's also really social. I mean, we got a great group of people out here.
All right. Well, Carol, thank you. I'm going to keep weeding. I'm going to do the
Okay.
best I can, okay? But thanks so much for talking with me.
Thanks for weeding.
I'm making a pile over here.
Okay.
And thank you so much for meeting me out here today and for training me. We're going to be clipping some shrubs. Almost called it a bush, but you corrected me a while ago, right? It's not a bush, it's a shrub. All right, and we are going to, obviously, you come out here and volunteer how often?
I am actually here 2 days a week, but only Wednesday mornings I do this with the gardening group. It's between, well, I come 9 in the morning and it goes till noon.
Okay.
But yeah, my other one is yesterday, and it was a forest steward, so working
awesome.
the forest, yes.
Do you love volunteering out here?
Love it. I've just been here for 6 months, but I realized during the shutdown last year that I am the happiest outdoors. And
Oh, yeah.
and giving back to something that has given me such pleasure in my family my whole life, it's the best place. But anyway, these are a little, like my hair, a little out of control, but it's kind of overgrown, and so we're just going to shape things up. So you want to just take your clipper and clip pretty fast, and just snip away kind of the long tendrils here and shape it up. And That way it looks a
Okay.
little shapely
Let me
again.
try that.
Maybe I need to use that on my hair.
You said go quick?
Yep. Those are
okay.
nice and sharp, which is wonderful.
Yeah.
Very
so you
helpful
don't
to
want
have.
to get a finger in.
No, no finger, and
For
it's
sure.
great to have sharp tools.
Then
Then it's not. Yeah. Yeah, I know it's
take 'em
easy.
right off there. That's not bad.
No, not bad at all. Another thing about volunteering at Bernheim is it's great exercise. You
Yes.
know, no gym, no gym or all. It's just all out here. You're, you know,
Fresh
working,
air,
fresh
yeah.
air, sunshine,
Yeah.
or rain. I mean, we work in either kind of any kind of conditions, really.
All right, so how's it looking? Is it looking
It's
better?
looking wonderful.
So you think
Tell me
that
when you get tired.
I could be a trimmer?
We'll sign you up today.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Well, you got me right now,
I
don't you?
know. I keep working. Keep working. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it.
I appreciate your training. Appreciate you letting me hang out
Thank
here
you.
and
Appreciate
trim the
Shrubs.
shrub.
That's
I
right.
can't get that in my head. It looks like
That's
a bush
all right.
to
I
me.
know. I know.
Trim the shrub. Thank you for your service.
Thank
Thanks
you,
for your
Randy.
inspiration
Appreciate
and
it.
training me.
Thank you.
All right,
Thank
so
you
let's
for
finish
coming.
this thing up.
All right.
We
Sounds
only have
great.
one set of trimmers.
I know.
so
You
we gotta
lucked
take
out,
turns.
didn't you? Yeah. You. Yeah. I see you passing that off on me. But yes, it's very helpful to have sharp tools.
Yes. Thanks again.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Randy.
All right, Wren, here we are in Bernheim. This is my first time here. It's absolutely beautiful.
It is, isn't it?
Yes, I sat in on a station, and I know you've got a lot to say about volunteers, but I want to know why you're here, how long you've been here, and what brought you here.
I've been here 20 years. It's hard to believe, but actually I've been here longer than that because my family, we grew up in Shelbyville, and we drive out here 4 times a year when I was a little girl. And I saw adults running around excited about bugs and trees and snakes and turtles, all the things that I loved. And I found out that some of them got paid for that. So I kind of aimed my ship in that direction. So, you know, I'm a naturalist because of Bernheim. And it's one of the reasons I started our volunteer naturalist program is I wanted to inspire the kids, the families, you know, of whatever age they are. I wanted them to have the kind of experience I had that changed my life. Whether a person wants to grow up to be a naturalist or they just want to appreciate the trees and birds and things in their own backyard.
I know you've got a lot of great stories because you've met a lot of wonderful people
have.
since you've been here, but do you have an inspirational story that you would like to share with us today?
Oh, that is so hard because there are just so many. I mean, for me, I think watching our volunteers getting comfortable, especially those who may have been shyer. I can think of one in particular who was very shy and was so shy that I was afraid we were going to lose him. And then he's actually telling stories, and he's down on his haunches like a frog and doing an amazing job.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
We could talk all day, but thank
Absolutely.
you.
It's a pleasure meeting you.
Nice meeting you. Okay, ladies, this is my first time here at Bernheim, and it's my first time here in this station. So this is a mammal station, right?
It's a mammal station, yes. Meet the gang.
Yay! I
This
know a
is-
few, but
Yes.
maybe.
Well, this is your
Yeah.
opportunity to pet
Yeah.
a possum safely.
Okay.
And we ask that you go from head to tail
Okay.
because the pelts will last longer that way.
Nice.
And notice how soft it is.
Yes.
I was expecting it to be really bristly.
It is soft.
It is really soft. And let's take the skull and put it right
Wow.
up there. And you see how nicely it fits. Now this is his portrait.
Beautiful portrait.
Isn't that lovely?
Yes. So you teach the children to respect the animals
Yes.
and to appreciate them. How long have you been doing this, Phil?
About 5 years.
That's a long time.
Yes, it is.
And why? Why do you volunteer
It's fun.
here?
I'm a retired teacher, retired librarian, and I enjoy what I'm doing.
So are you typically in the mammal station?
Very often in the mammal station.
Okay.
And they're fuzzy. And
Yes. Now what is
now
this?
this is a raccoon.
We have
And
raccoons.
if you weren't sure.
Yes. So you should not be afraid of raccoons?
With any wild animal, respect
Yes.
is key. And we also have a portrait of the raccoon. Oops.
Nice.
Isn't that nice?
Okay. All right,
And
let me pet the raccoon.
Pet the raccoon.
Gracie, how long have you been volunteering, and why do you volunteer?
I was an intern about 6 years ago over the summer, and that turned me on to the volunteer program here. And then I went off, went to school, did a lot of other things, but now I'm back volunteering. I've been here about a year now.
Oh,
We're glad she's here.
Yeah, I'm very glad to be here. It's just a good place to be. The people here are really awesome. It's a very calming, just
Yes.
awesome place to be, and you can do so many different things. There's so many different opportunities, whether you're doing discovery stations or working in the woods or working with camps. So
Or working in the edible garden.
yeah, working in the
or
edible
working at
garden
Isaac's
or
Cafe,
doing,
which is
yeah,
tasty.
sounds like you do it all.
Yeah.
There's a lot of opportunities out here. So that is
This is the raccoon skull. And
Okay.
this is plastic. This is not real.
I was hoping.
Yes. Well, these are probably roadkill,
Yeah.
so nobody heard them. But it's nice to have these so that the kids can take a look at the teeth and we can
Right.
discuss what they will eat.
What do they eat?
Well, if you are a raccoon, anything you can lay your paws on.
That's true.
And you've got really nice claws. You can get
Yes.
into garbage cans, you know. We've encroached on their territory.
That's true.
So they're survivors.
And you see that on movies or TV shows where they're searching through a trash can or something like that.
And they really do examine their food.
Do they really?
As pets and in the wild, they do examine the food.
Are they picky?
Depends on the food supply and how bad it smells. And then this is the safest way for you to pet this creature.
The skunk. You know, you typically think, well, of a skunk as black and white, but this is more darker brown or reddish brown or something like that and white.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Yes, we also have skunks out by where we live, and we stay away. We respect the skunk. We stay away.
Absolutely.
So this,
Well, this is real.
oh, okay.
And I think you can tell that it's a buck. And when we take a look at its teeth, in comparison to, let's say, the raccoon's
yeah.
teeth, there's quite a bit of difference.
Ladies, I've got to move on to another station.
Well, thank you so
But
much
I
for
want to
coming.
thank you so much. I've learned a lot today. I have. And thank you so much for volunteering.
It's our pleasure.
Thank you so much for having us out here today. It's such a blessing to be here at Bernheim today, and I understand you're a volunteer, so tell us what you do.
I'm a volunteer naturalist out here at Bernheim. Most of the work that I do out here revolves around birds.
Okay.
My wife and I maintain purple martin colonies. We do a lot of other bird-related education. As you can see from the table here, I've got a wide variety of things. I've got a number of field guides. I've got a collection of nests. And at that point, I have to tell you, do not collect nests.
All right.
I tell everybody, collecting nests or feathers or eggs or any part of a bird is prohibited by law unless you have a federal permit. Bernheim has such a permit, and that's why we're allowed to do this. And it's only
Right.
for educational purposes.
I understand, yeah.
Okay.
That's nice to know, because a lot of people might come to a class like this and think, oh, I want
Oh,
one
well,
of
I
them.
can start a feather collection, and,
Yeah.
and we don't want people doing that, obviously.
Right.
We don't want people starting a nest collection.
Right, yeah, right.
So all of these nests that are here were collected in an ethical manner after they were no longer serviceable
Yes.
by the bird that built them.
Right, right.
Okay, so that's real important for people to understand.
Absolutely.
But generally when I'm working with the kids or the young people that come up, I have them look at that and pretty much ask them, what do you notice about it? What are the similarities? What are the differences? You can notice how they all weave together. One of the things that I like to point out is they're all circular.
Right.
We're probably the only species in the world that builds with squares. Every other species in the world builds in circles.
Huh. I have to think
It's
about that.
more
yeah.
efficient.
Yeah,
It's
right.
it's more efficient for heating. It's a more efficient use of materials. You can get much more square footage area building round than you can squares. So And I've got a bunch of field guides.
Right.
You know, people ask, how do I get started with birds? And I'll tell them, you know, some of these field guides I picked up at Goodwill. Anything you can use to get you started.
Yeah.
And I've got sample binoculars out here. You may not have noticed as you were watching a little bit earlier, but I've also got some target birds set up, or decoys.
Oh, no.
So if you look around, we've got practice
Oh, yeah.
for binoculars.
Yeah, I saw one of the kids run up to a tree a while ago saying, I found one.
I found
yeah. Well, what would you tell a potential volunteer? You know, we do this show and we show all different sorts of volunteering opportunities. And so obviously we're at Bernheim Forest today talking about nature. So if somebody was interested, how would you encourage them to get started to volunteer at a place like this?
First, apply.
Yeah.
We do a volunteer orientation a couple times every month. In the naturalist program, we start training in the beginning of the year, and there's hours upon hours of classes.
It's probably worth it when you see those kids come through and the smiles on their faces.
That's why we do it. We do it for them and to help spark that interest in nature, in whatever part of it is.
Yeah.
As I said, I do birds, but we have people that do mammals and furs and plants and trees, and you know, if it's in nature, we've got somebody doing it.
That's
You
awesome.
know, we have a man that does nothing but frogs and salamanders and those kind of things.
Yeah.
And,
That's super cool.
and there's so much training and camaraderie with it as well,
Right.
because we share with each other. We just recently started another program where we're going to do our own little volunteer naturalist foray, where we just go out without a program or without guests, because you know we're here for the guests mostly, but we feed off of each other and we share each other's knowledge and
So
whatnot.
another benefit about volunteering, being a part of an organization, you're meeting, making friends, learning,
Absolutely.
having fun
Absolutely.
yourself. Well, I sure appreciate your time, Jim. Thank you so
thanks.
much
Well,
for
I
teaching
told
me about
you,
this.
my wife and I take care of the purple martins. Would you like to go see them?
I'd
I have
love
to do a nest
to.
check.
Yeah, let's go do a nest check.
All right,
that sounds
let's do that.
awesome. Thank you.
All right. And then we're just going to go around by the numbers. We'll start. You see, I have them numbered. 1, 2, 3. We're going to go around. I'm going to see how many young are in there, if there's any eggs left that haven't hatched.
Okay.
And then we're just going to record it
Okay.
on the right piece of paper. So I've actually got the data for this going back like 5 years.
Oh, okay.
But we're just going to basically just do a general check on their overall health. I try to talk to them every time I'm out here when they're coming around. People think I'm nuts talking to myself, but I'm actually talking to the birds.
Well, you told me earlier that you want the birds to get familiar with your voice, right?
Right, and a lot of the science is showing that birds are a lot more intelligent than people realize. Not just crows. Everybody knows crows are smart, but birds have excellent facial recognition and voice recognition, and so I always talk when I'm out here.
And you said you come out here about once a week to check on the birds.
Once a week is a minimum.
Minimum.
Yeah.
You talk to them, and
I
again,
talk to 'em.
facial recognition as they're flying around. A lot of them are flying around us right now.
And sometimes, listen, I just lower this real gently and I'll watch, because that one's got a broken porch.
Okay.
So I just want to make sure. But sometimes we'll open one up and mama bird will still be sitting there, and I think we're past that point at this point in the season. There shouldn't be anybody left sitting eggs unless we've had some second-year birds come in.
Okay.
But this rack was full of mature birds, so we should be in good shape there. I do have the other apartment building over here was just recently opened to allow for some second-year birds to come in. And basically, we're just going to come around and I'm going to count heads, and
Gotcha.
once in a while I'll pull them out and I'll use my pictures to age them.
I'm not getting too close, because if one of them flies out and into my face,
they've already
that's not
backed
gonna
in.
be good.
But you see this porch is broken,
Oh, yeah.
and it's probably not going to.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm not going to be able to. I'll have to get some glue to put that back on and maintain it. I'll probably just buy a new porch.
Right.
So for right now, I'm going to leave that on the table over here.
Okay.
But we're going to start around here on
Okay.
on number 1. Now let me see. I'm going to pull my paperwork out here. So that's going to be this one. This is the Education Center gourd rack. As I mentioned earlier, we have 2 colony sites.
Okay.
And so I've got a piece of paper for each rack that we use. So the last time I looked here, I had 5 young and 1 egg.
All right.
So we're going to see if we have 5 young. We're going to do this. So I see how big they are. And we still have one egg, so that egg is not going to hatch. If you want to come over and take a look.
Okay.
They're getting to be a pretty good size now.
Oh, yeah.
And that extra egg in there, we know at this point it's not going to hatch. So it's going to be a non-viable egg. At the end of the season, I'll save that so that I have it as a teaching tool.
Yeah. That's
So we
cool.
got 5.
Never seen martins up this close like this.
Occasionally, I'll have to pull them out to change nesting material, whatever, if they're infested with mites or anything like that. When I do that, I always put on rubber gloves because I don't want to infect the birds with anything that I have.
Right, right.
So,
I can see they're awake.
oh yeah, look at you guys.
Yeah, they're looking
1,
good.
2, 3, 4. Yeah, come on in and take a look.
Yeah.
And anytime I do this with the public out here, when I have stuff like this, little ones up, I can pull the whole gourd off and come down and say, here, take a look. So the kids love that.
Yeah, that's cool.
Hard part gets to be counting them sometimes as they start getting a little bit bigger like that,
Uh-huh.
as they pile up on top of each other.
Right. Jim, I want to thank you so much for showing me what you do
it's my
with the
pleasure.
kids, for showing me what you do with the martins. You're a wonderful volunteer, and I hope this show inspires other people to get out, whatever community they live in. I'm sure there's some outdoor activity they can volunteer at and do some good things. Don't you think?
There's always opportunities.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
So-
it's worth it.
yeah, absolutely. Thank you for your time. It's very
Thank
nice
you
to
so
meet
much
you.
for coming out.
Appreciate it very much,
Pleasure.
Jim. Thanks so much for watching Project Volunteer. We've had a blast here today, haven't we, Theresa?
Absolutely.
What are you doing up there?
I love it up here. I am higher than you.
You are higher than me. Hey, we had a great time today,
Yes,
right?
awesome place.
And we wa-
Bernheim Forest.
Yes, we want to encourage you to get out and volunteer in your community, no matter what it is. Just serve others, do good, go out and do, right, Theresa?
I wish I had some water to dump on your head. Yes!
But you don't.
Yes.
Bye. Y'all have a good day.
If
Do
you have an
something
idea
good.
for our show, a story of inspiration, or would like to nominate a volunteer hero,
Get in on the conversation on our Facebook page or go to projectvolunteer.org. This show is brought to you by United Healthcare because we believe in the power of volunteering.